We've already talked about the incredible semifinals of the 1983-84 DFB-Pokal. That brought us some of the most dramatic and iconic moments in all of German football history. But, of course, Bayern München were able to advance to the final anyway. But before we talk about the final, we at least need to mention what happened in the Bundesliga that season. It was a race for the ages. Now, this is what the table looked like after 30 matches. This is right before the Cup semifinals were played. Stuttgart were in the lead by a single point, followed by Bayern München, Hamburg, and then Mönchengladbach in one of the closest races of all time. Incidentally, that was the same match day that Stuttgart put 6 goals past Nürnberg. Those 6 goals became important down the stretch. Now, exhausted from that dramatic Cup semi-final, Mönchengladbach just simply fell apart against Dortmund the next week. Meanwhile, though it's not shown here, Stuttgart put 5 goals past Offenbach that practically knocked Mönchengladbach out of the title race. By the next to last match, Stuttgart, Hamburg, and Gladbach were all tied on points, but Stuttgart had a stronger goal differential. Stuttgart managed to beat Werder Bremen on this important goal. Meanwhile, Hamburg lost to Eintracht Frankfurt, meaning that Stuttgart had a 2-point lead going into the final match of the season. And, of course, as fate would have it, the final match featured Stuttgart playing against Hamburg, the perfect ending. However, the goal differential meant that only a miracle could knock Stuttgart off. Well, over 70,000 people showed up to watch this big match live in Stuttgart. Unfortunately, though, there wasn't too much to see. Stuttgart played very conservatively, knowing that Hamburg would have to win by 7 goals to overcome that goal differential. Hamburg did manage to get a goal in right before the end, but 1 goal was all. And so we had the rare pleasure to watch a team celebrate a league victory after losing the final match. The final standings were extremely close. The only difference was that goal differential. Stuttgart managed to win despite winning 2 fewer games than the 2 closest competitors. Drawing instead of losing was the key. Of course, things are different these days, what with 3 points for a win and all. And hey, maybe that means that the NASL had the right idea all along. Now that's the context you need to understand the DFB-Pokal Final, which took place on May 31st, 5 days after the end of the season. In contrast to those great semi-final games, this match started off ugly. There were fouls all over the place, and the play was chiefly defensive. Bayern had the first real chance of the match. They attacked the goal with quite a bit of ferocity. Now, I suppose they had an argument for a penalty here, but nothing was given. And this was a great save by the Gladbach keeper. But it was basically all Bayern for the first half hour or so of this match. However, a half hour in and there was still no score. Gladbach then started to get good chances. And here was another. And then seconds later, the goal finally came. This was through Frank Mill. It looked like they were about to get another one. In fact, I'm not quite sure how this one missed. And what do you think about this one? Should this have been a penalty? Regardless, we went into halftime with Gladbach up 1-0. There was a chance to add to that lead, but it went nowhere. Bayern then had a real chance, but it was ruled offside. But then Bayern started to come back. This was another good Bayern attack, though not quite good enough. And now Bayern were being wasteful with their chances. And after an hour, it was still 1-0. It's a shame to admit it, but this match really didn't have the same drama of those semi-final matches. In fact, this turned into a sort of trench warfare with heavy tackles on both sides. Gladbach almost punched their ticket home here. And Bayern came close, but not quite close enough. And so it remained 1-0 after 75 minutes. This shot required a good save. And this one required an amazing save. However, Bayern were able to equalize in the end, only minutes before the final whistle. Well, I'm starting to understand why so many people hate Bayern München. In fact, they almost won it here in the 90th minute. And so we went into extra time with both sides looking absolutely exhausted. I really wish I could show you the highlights from extra time. Unfortunately, I can't find them. Whoever recorded this match wasn't able to record that 30-minute sequence of play, unfortunately. And so that means we'll have to skip straight to penalties, but don't worry, I mean, nothing really happened during the extra time. Now, the big story here was this Mönchengladbach star, Lothar Matthäus, who had already signed with Bayern for the next season before the semifinals had even started. As many of you already know, he went on from there to Inter Milan, where he managed to win FIFA Player of the Year in 1991. He even managed to have a brief stint in New York in the early days of the MLS. Sadly, though, this would be a penalty shootout that Matthäus would rather forget about. He was the first man up, and his nerves must have gotten the best of him. It was an embarrassing miss. The teams traded goal after goal at that point until this shot by Klaus Augenthaler was blocked. That kept Gladbach alive. However, Norbert Ringels hit the post. It was now 6-6 and Bayern could win with one more goal. Michael Rummenigge did the honors. Who else? And so the drama ended on an anticlimactic note, but that was still one of the most dramatic and exciting cup finals I've ever seen. Well, I don't know about the rest of you guys, but personally, I really don't care much for penalties. They feel really dull and anticlimactic and also very predictable. But the rest was great. I mean, this match really was a joy to watch, even after all these years.